Hi there. It is Wednesday at 6 o'clock, which means it is time for Q&A Wednesday on Facebook Live. So hopefully we're able to see what our topic was tonight. We were talking a little bit about how to eat out in a healthy way. So, sometimes I hear just the craziest excuses, or, people that they get in a bind. And so, they have the necessity to eat out. And of course I hear some of the craziest stuff. Well, I didn't have any choice, and I'm going, okay, that's great, but there's still choices within that choice. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight is, can you eat out and still stay within your health goals, which is absolutely doable. So a couple of fun things just to think about this evening, hey B, is that number one, I have a really great ebook coming out here in the next week or so. I'm super excited about it. I love to write. I write for an online fitness magazine. It's called Fitness RX for Women online. I do a weekly article on there, and a lot of it has to do with just common sense and being able to live within your health goals that you have going on, not just with like nutrition and exercise, but for those of us that are really working towards something, we know that there's a lot more involved. What to do with your head, what to do if you've plateaued. So a lot of things that we talk about on Q&A Wednesday, I work with that when I write those articles. And so I came to the conclusion that, I answer some of the same questions over and over and over again, where I really felt the need to start putting that out there in script of, I know it's a little bit of my opinion, but, I try to take my education, my experience, and then throw some common sense in the mix. And then that's what I talk about. So that's what that ebook is coming out about. And as soon as it's ready, I will let you know, because I will post it here online so that you guys can have access to it, opportunity to that. So again, we're talking tonight about if it's possible to still remain within your health goals and eat out. And it absolutely is, guys. I've been doing this for 8-9 years. I know I have my groove down. And so, I've had some experience trying to figure this out, but I'm going to tell you how to make that possible this evening, because it is doable. And you've got a couple of choices. First of all, when you do decide that you want to go out, thank you. Marilyn says she loves my red. Yeah, red is like one of my favorite colors. So, I tend to do a lot of red. If you haven't looked at my wardrobe, I do that. So first of all, the one thing I want to talk about is, when you decide to eat out, the first decision you have to make is, what kind of restaurant are you going to choose to eat out at? Because of course that's going to make a huge difference with your choices, right? So, obviously if you're trying to remain healthy, your best options are not going to fall within like pub food or within fast food. It's doable, but it's really a struggle to make sure that you can make really great choices, because number one, you can't always within 100% determination know that you're getting what you think you're getting. Even sit down restaurants sometimes can be a little bit of a guessing game as to, just because that's what it says on the menu does not necessarily mean that you're getting what you think you're getting. So let me just give you kind of an example for that. A couple years ago, I was in the middle of contest prep, and my family took my dad out to dinner at an Olive Garden, and I'm thinking, hey, great option is if I go to grilled chicken, that's always just, kind of a staple that I can get away with. And so I ended up ordering like the grilled chicken salad, something or other, not realizing till about halfway through, because it just tasted different. And I don't know if they still do this, but honestly, they've kind of lost I won't eat out there anymore. Just really not a lot of options for me. Even if I do want a cheat meal, that is not the place I would normally choose to get it. So, but what ended up happening was that they lightly floured their chicken before they grilled it. And I was really upset, partially because it did not mention that on the menu. And what if I was allergic to gluten? Hi, Carrie. I was just really dumbfounded that they would do. And not only did they not care when I complained and couldn't finish my food when I realized what it was, they obviously didn't care. And so for multiple reasons, I won't eat there. And that's one of the biggest ones. So again, you can't 100% guarantee if you're not cooking it, you 100% don't know that you're getting what you think you are getting. So make some good conscious decisions, and then pay attention. That's part of it. So Kayla wants to know what I would choose. I'm going to tell you that in a minute. So, your best options when it comes to making good choices, obviously something that is sit down with a decent menu. And my best bit of advice, and I'm going to give you some tips towards the end, but my best bit of advice when you're going to go out to eat is, if you know you're going out to eat, take the time to do a little bit of research in advance. Pick a place that you know carries some things that you can have. It's primarily going to be somewhere where you can sit down that has an open, a decent menu. Try to pick a place that will allow you to make some specific requests. Not every place will, but most, because the restaurants realize that we've become a little bit more of a health conscious nation, they're usually more than willing to actually take your requests. Like, can you make sure that's not sauteed? Can you make sure that's not going to have added oil? Those kind of things. Can you give me steamed? I went to a restaurant not very long ago where they said, hey, we can take any protein and do just the protein and a couple sides of vegetables and make it, really beneficial for you. And we can make sure that we cook that dry, which means not with added oil or butter with the protein. So most places will do that. And if you already have, if it's a national chain, for the most part, they're usually going to have their menu already online with their ingredients or at least the macros listed. Now, again, even though it says what it is, you can't guarantee that whoever's serving that is giving you that exact amount of portion. So again, it's kind of a little bit of a guessing game, but you can at least make some better choices. And my tip to you would be, decide what you're going to eat before you get there, right? Because that way, if you haven't made a decision when you walk in the door and, it's a place that you love and that somebody walks by with your favorite meal and that's not something you should have, but now you're kind of playing this whole game of, well, just this once. If you've already decided, then there's no choice. I already know that when I walk in, I'm going to have the grilled chicken with a side of steamed broccoli and a naked baked sweet potato. That's what I'm having. Then there's no guessing game, and you're not swayed by what the smells are, but by what somebody else is having to eat. So that's my best idea for you. But again, make sure that if you're eating out, and even with friends, be part of the decision makers as to where you're going to go. I already know, if I go out at this point, where I can go around town, that depending on where I'm at life-wise, that I can still eat. And if you do have to make a choice with fast food, know what you can have that works. I know that I can go somewhere and get probably a grilled chicken salad, pull off all the cheese, all of the extras, because honestly, the salad option at a lot of places is not, you start adding things like cheese and bacon bits and croutons and full-fledged dressing. Sometimes that's worse than having a sandwich. The calories and the fat grams skyrocket, and all of a sudden it becomes not the healthiest choice. So be aware of what you're doing. Make some good choices. Fast food wise, it is a little tougher because, again, it is fast food for a reason. But again, if you can, pick something. I used to go to like McDonald's and get their grilled chicken wraps, and I would literally just pull out the grilled chicken and eat just the chicken. So, not something I do these days, but I kind of learned over time where I can make good choices and where I can kind of punt if I have to, if I'm desperate. So those are the kind of things that you can do. I highly recommend that you stay away from buffets because number one, the food ain't that great. I'm a huge fan of quality over quantity. You can't make me eat at a buffet. As a matter of fact, my husband and I, for our 20th anniversary, went to Vegas this year, and we decided, hey, we've never been to a buffet in Vegas. Let's totally do it. So not worth the money. And again, there's something, when we pay for a buffet where, it is all you can eat, you feel like you have to get your money's worth. So there alone, you've kind of went outside your health goal to say, okay, well, I need to eat enough that it makes it worth the whatever amount of money that we paid for it. So not your best option. I do highly recommend that you, like I said, do your homework so that you know what are great options that you can even eat there. I have gone places where I figured, well, it's a sit down restaurant, they should have a couple of options, and then really sat there going, I can't eat a thing that they have here, which makes it a little bit tougher to do. So I like to know in advance what I can eat. And like I said, I'm going to give you some of my suggestions here in just a minute. But a couple of ideas I had, first of all, when you go, you've got to make a decision. If this is your cheat or your free meal, by all means, you can have, make those choices in that direction. But if you're trying to make some healthier choices, first of all, I would probably stay away from alcohol because, again, alcohol doesn't make you fat, but it does prevent your body from burning fat because now all of a sudden your metabolism has to deal with the alcohol first. And there's a really long reason as to why. What about an Asian buffet? Noe? Okay, yeah, funny. Tell me what's in it. Now we're talking about a whole other set of issues like sodium and like oils and things like that and just a buffet in general, I'm not gonna tell you that that's the best option. So back to alcohol, obviously, if you are making a choice to have some alcohol, there are some options that are a little bit better than others. And I'm just going to boil it down to try to stay away from the sugary options, margaritas and, things that add a lot of extra, like simple syrups and, anything that's really sugary is probably not your best option. I would stick probably with the hard liquors and maybe some tonic water and, no, that's disgusting, honey. So he's giving me some really funny feedback down there. Try to stay away from the things they're going to not only be alcohol, but then add a bunch of extra calories and a bunch of extra sugar. Is probably not your best option there. So, if you're trying to stay within your health goals, I would really limit your alcohol intake anyway, just because to me, it's really counterproductive. I only drink when I've that it's a scheduled event that I've already planned for, like maybe going to Vegas. But not really your best option if you're trying to stay within your health goals. There's really not a healthy alcohol option. So as for good food choices, if you're looking at the menu, there are some things that should give you clues, and you can ask. I would ask the server lots of questions if you're not sure, because I don't want to get something and then realize, okay, well, they just totally cooked my vegetables in butter, and now I can't. Not that I can't have the butter, but maybe it doesn't fall within my macros for that day, and so now I'm out. But anything that is grilled, broiled, baked, that can be iffy, so you might have to do some more checking into that. But steamed, cooked dry, again, which means like that they haven't added any extra oils or butter, because again, you do have to take that into consideration, that if it's not within your macros, or if you are trying to follow a certain amount of calories, those added oils or fats are actually, it's 9 calories per gram, guys. That can add up really fast. Fats are actually very calorie dense. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Please avoid things like fried, sauteed, come on. I mean, you kind of know already what the better options are. You're trying to eat as clean as you possibly can. So those are the best options when you're looking at the menu there. So some tips. Again, know what to order before you even go, because then you're not tempted to get something that you shouldn't. I would personally, again, unless it's your cheat meal, I would stay away from desserts. Appetizers, you also have to be really, really careful there, because again, you're talking a lot of times it's deep fried. It really depends on the restaurant. And of course, again, I'm a big fan of quality over quantity. I would rather have very small portions of the most amazing food I've ever tasted, even when I'm not trying to, like, if I'm having a free meal or a cheat meal, I want it to be amazing. Because here's my theory: if I have to work it off, it better be the best thing I've ever tasted in my life, right? Other things, be smart about portion control. I've heard tips like, ask for a to-go box right from the beginning, put half of what you've ordered in there so that, you're not tempted to eat the whole thing, because sometimes our eyes are bigger than our stomach. Or if we're there with a group of friends, our focus might be more on the conversation and the social aspect, and we might not be paying attention to how much we're really getting in there. Hopefully by the time you eat out, you've kind of learned to eyeball portion size so you can make a better choice. That's what I have to do, because I don't think they're really going to be okay if you pull out a scale right there. Get your food scale out at the table and measure all your food. That might be a little weird. Avoid at certain restaurants, I know that they bring bread or rolls to the table. Ask them to not do that. To me, I love the smell, but I'm also tempted to eat it if it's sitting there. And I only want one starch, which I usually want something that's a little more of a complex carb. Again, unless, Paula, you're super funny. She's telling me that she likes chocolate lava cakes, because she knows I love those. You're hilarious right now. My favorite place to eat, honestly, is Texas Roadhouse. If you have one of those, and that's what Kayla says. She just did that. Good girl. I love it because I can actually eat there really super clean. I know exactly what I can get when I walk in the door, but I do ask them to not bring the bread to the table unless like my family's eating it. And honestly, I'm so used to it, it's not really a big deal. But if you find that can be a deterrent and you're really struggling over that, just don't have them bring them. That's the other problem with Olive Garden. Of course, their breadsticks taste amazing. And when they do that, like that unlimited thing, wow, you can really go overboard really super easy. So not your best option for that. Don't be afraid to ask specifically for requests. Like I said, if I know at Texas Roadhouse, a lot of times I will do, like if I can't have a carb for that meal, I will just get 2 sides of vegetables, which works great. And yeah, Kayla says that nobody said a word when she asked them not to bring the rolls to the table. I think they're so used to it. Like I said, I eat there pretty frequently when I'm trying to be really healthy. So I think they're used to stuff like that. You can get some of the options, the sides, in a little bit healthier version at Texas Roadhouse. I do like the baked sweet potato, and I ask for it naked with nothing on it, so that I'm not getting a bunch of butter and sour cream and cheese and fats on it that I can't necessarily have. And for me, I like the sweet potato with just a little bit of salt, and it just tastes amazing. So you can also do that with a baked potato. Baked potato is not necessarily a bad option. It's all of the stuff you put on top of it that can be a problem. So, ask for it to have nothing on it. Like I said, order veggies as sides. I've been known to order both a side salad, and I even use things like just a lemon wedge and some salt as my dressing. Just depending on what I've got for the day or what I feel like I want to have that day. I don't do a whole lot of actual dressings anymore because it's too hard to know what's in it. Although I've been known to bring my own. And they don't squawk at that either. Don't be afraid to send it back. If you know something is not right, you're paying for it and you've requested it that way. And sometimes it just doesn't make it to the kitchen, or they just really weren't paying attention. So send it back. Don't just eat it just because they put it in front of you. If you know it's not correct, send it back. So yeah, be smart about the choices. If it doesn't sound healthy, and even be careful. Ordering from their healthy options is a great spot that to choose from. However, like I said, pay attention, because just because it says healthy choice, when you start looking at the calories and all the however many fat grams or whatever's in it, or just common sense, like if oh my gosh, that has to contain extra sugar, might not be your best option. Again, a lot of times these days, diet food uses a lot of gimmick. They do use a lot of gimmicks to try and help make it sound healthy, because they know as people these days we tend to be a little more health conscious, or at least we're paying attention. And so sometimes once they say, oh, it's healthy, like just because it says gluten-free doesn't mean that it's sugar-free, or you know what I mean? So pay attention to those kind of things. And my last suggestion would be, don't go in starving. Drink plenty of water before, during, so that you're not filling yourself full of extra food. Or also remember that your body, there's lag time between when your stomach is full and when your body actually lets you know that it's full. So, quit when you're about 80% full, so that you don't overstuff yourself, because of course we know that's not a fun feeling anyway. But don't go in starving, because of course, I don't know about you, but my eyes are always bigger than my stomach. And so I always try to eat way too much when I'm hungry and ordering. Especially if I'm doing a cheat meal, then I'm miserable afterwards, and that's not fun anyway. So places that are decent to eat, like I said, I usually try to choose something that is a sit-down restaurant, just because I know they're usually going to have some sort of like a grilled chicken or a grilled chicken salad that I can have. I like steak. I just try to choose some of the leaner cuts of the steak, and I portion control it so that I know how much I'm getting, and then I just take the rest home and eat it later. Steak's not a problem. It's when you start hitting some of the fattier versions or the fattier options, I try to stay away from prime rib and ribeye and some of those, because again, the fat calories add up really quick. Like I said, grilled chicken, a fish option or a salmon option is usually a great deal. Beware of some of the sauces and things that can accompany it. And I did want to tell you guys, rice pilaf is not a healthy option. I used to think way back when that I was like, rice, right? That's a great option. However, the problem with rice pilaf is it's cooked in butter. So again, you kind of got to know your foods just a little bit, but if you can really focus on finding a lean protein, a complex carb, that again, you have a little bit of control over how it's cooked, and then some green veggies, you've got a really great start there, and then you're not getting a whole lot of excess. What are the leaner cuts? I try to stick with, more of like the top round, maybe even a filet, like filet mignon, not with all the bacon and garbage with it, but I just really try to stay away from some of the fattier. Like I said, I don't like ribeye. I don't know. I've kind of become accustomed to a little bit leaner options, and so steak wise, I just really try to. I don't. Unless I'm having a cheat meal, I don't tend to do a burger, because obviously they're not going to use a leaner option, because the fat's what it makes it moist and taste good. So hamburgers are not going to be like your best option. But if you got to go that direction, you can get almost any sandwich without the bun. So of course, the bun is the carbs, the simple sugars that are going to spike your insulin. So things like that. Now, for fast food, I personally at this point can't do any fast food. I'm like I said, I might be able to do like a chicken salad somewhere and start pulling things off that I can't have. Way back when, I would kind of choose like the Fresca menu at Taco Bell, which at this point I cannot eat their food. So, and I don't do anything at McDonald's at this point. I've seen way too many documentaries and I just can't do it. It just grosses me out. So, again, fast food, if you can get like a grilled chicken option, you can always get it without the bun. Just, again, use some common sense, a lean protein, a complex carb. And if you can't find the complex carbs, save that for later. I almost always am toting around rice cakes or something that, if I can't get anything else, I love rice cakes, so I can overdo that one real easy. But I have some options for some carbs just in case I need it. But primarily I bring my own food almost everywhere I go. So that's not usually what ends up happening. Like I said, if I do eat out, I choose a sit down restaurant and I always do my homework and I'm not afraid to tell my friends, okay, I can't eat there. So yeah, I'll go with you and I'll sit and I'll bring my own food, which might tick off the staff, but most people are used to it. And the only time that I got kicked out was a buffet, because I was going to eat my own food at the buffet while the rest of the people with me were eating buffet food, and they didn't find that fun. So I don't really care at this point. But anyhow, so hopefully that helps. Again, just if you make some choices and do some pre-planning, you're going to be much, much better off and be able to make some healthy choices and be able to still follow your health goals without having to do anything silly or stupid or go way off track, right? Unless you've planned for it. If that's your planned cheat, then by all means, enjoy carb coma, wake up tomorrow morning. So anyhow, have an incredible week, you guys. Hopefully that helped you guys make some choices, or at least know how to make some good decisions when you're going to eat out. And of course, if your friends, like I said, be part of the choice process. Hey guys, I'd like to go here. Why can't we go here instead? So, hopefully that helps you out. So have an incredible evening, you guys. We'll talk to you next week, and have an incredible spring. Good night, guys.